I hate to break up conversation, but I will anyway. We're going to get started. It is 1:31, so we'll be fairly prompt today. Please join me in a moment of centering silence as we begin. Thank you. We've got a pretty full agenda today, and there it is. We're going to get right to it with Ruthie, who's going to give us an update on philanthropy. Please welcome her.
Good afternoon, everyone. I've been asked to highlight why the Resident Assistance Fund is so important to me, and I presume to everyone else who lives here. The reason I decided to come to Friends Homes was the promise that if I was not able to, if my money ran out, I would still be able to live in Friends Homes. We don't know, we all plan very well to try to take care of ourselves. But we're at the point where medical things may happen. And that gets to be very, very expensive. Insurance is not what it was 40 years ago in terms of covering everything. So we've got to worry about that. A lot of us have our money in what we think are suitable investments. But different investments, things happen along the way. And all of a sudden you may think you've been in a good place with your money, and all of a sudden you hadn't. You're not there. And so things, you're just losing funds in order to support yourself. So, Friends Homes has a fund, a resident assistance fund, in which they use it to support people who cannot take care of their situation and need support, need financial support. We have the Residents Assistance Fund to do that. I'm especially pleased that, except for perhaps a few staff members, people who are assisted by the residents who are assisted by this fund, it's done anonymously, so that no one is aware of that. We have to, if we want to have this system, these funds stay with us, we have to keep contributing, we have to keep it thriving. Our support, our contribution is very important to all of our futures. Currently, we've had a 25%, we're at 25% of the goal. So I am here to encourage all of us to step forward and to make a donation to the Residents Assistance Fund so that we can keep it strong, we can take care of each other, we can settle our own nervousness about what's happening in the future. I personally love it here, and I think the ability to take care of all of us is just an outstanding initiative, and I'm so proud of all of the staff and also of all of us who step forward and donate to this a beautiful, beautiful concept, assuring all of us of our future. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to give an operations update. We'll start with request and response. These are things that we've heard from you and our RB and management's response. So get right to it. The first item, we had a resident request. We need blinds on the pool windows in pickleball That is a request we heard. So hopefully you'll be happy to know new custom blinds have been ordered and installation is scheduled for June 5th. This is in the area as you walk into the entrance of the hub, just to give some shade for the sun that comes in, especially in the early morning pickleball times. So those blinds will be installed June 5th. Similar note, when we redesigned the Ruth dining room, we've heard loud and clear that there's one area that is just too sunny. It's generally not a problem. Too sunny, I don't think, but it is. I guess it is when you're eating and you're getting blinded by the sun. So we have ordered shades for that wall in the Ruth as well. Don't have a date of installation, but those blinds have been ordered. And then last, request and response. We heard this recently. We need a wheelchair ramp for the bocce ball courts. And this is, if you've been to the bocce ball area, it's the court is sunken, so, is that the right word, sunken? Sunk. It's lower than the ground level. And it's about an 8-inch drop. So for an 8-inch drop, you need an 8-foot ramp. We've ordered a portable ramp that will be available if someone in a wheelchair or other mobility device wants to use the ramp. That will be available for residents to be able to get into the court area. You can access the outside area already. This was a response to the specific request that you be able to get into the court. Right? That's request and response. I'm going to give you a holler and survey update. Caught that, right? Just kidding. I don't know why the slide did that, sorry. So we recently had the holler and survey. 85% at Guilford, 78% at West. See the numbers here participated, so that's good. Better response than last year. Overall, that adds up to about 82% for the entire Friends Homes community. And those numbers put us, unfortunately, in second place, or some people like to call first loser. But we had a little friendly competition with our other communities. We did end up second. Glen Eyre had an 88% response rate. So within Kentura, our collective Friends Homes was second, and then Guilford a little bit higher than West at 85%. You see that? West at 78%. So we had a lot of people respond, and we really appreciate you taking the time to give us your feedback. And results will be shared sometime late. We're expecting to get those results back in late June, July. We pushed back the date of the survey to allow for more response, and that will, of course, push back the expected results coming to us. And then still to be determined is the forum that we will use to share those results. But we will share. We'll determine the forum to do that. Okay, parking. Just a few reminders. We've had a lot of, I don't know if a lot is right, but we've had concerns voiced about parking, that it's not getting better. And the good news is our occupancy has grown over the last 2 years or so, which brings more cars. So parking has been more of a challenge, I think, recently. And these are just some very general tips that I think we can all follow to, as much as we can, ease the parking burden. It's not going to completely solve the parking challenge, but it won't hurt. So offer these tips just in that light. If you aren't driving routinely, please choose a space further away from the building. If you have 2 vehicles, please park your second vehicle in a non-prime space, in other words, not right near the entrance of the building. If you have handicap tags, I realize this may be a little bit controversial, but I'm going to say it. If you have handicap tags, consider, it's a key word, consider alternative spaces if you don't drive. And then lastly, plan to make use of the shuttle by planning ahead. So just so you think we're not only giving you those tips, we also sent a Ready App message to our employees a couple of days ago to remind them of similar things. And this is what the message to team members said. Same kind of advice. Leave spaces closer to the building available for residents and guests. Again, you see the list of advice that we shared with employees as well. So if you see one of us not honoring that, feel free to say something to them. We should be adult enough to take that constructively and move on. And we emphasize too with employees, don't use the 30-minute signs. It's meant to be when you're unloading a vehicle. I would say the same. Please don't park there overnight in the 30-minute spaces. We see that occasionally. But again, if we can all use these tips, I think it will at least relieve some of the parking challenge. Right. Next up, Sydney is going to give you a resident services update.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see you guys. So as Steve said, I am Sydney, the Resident Services Coordinator here at West. And Kelly, the Resident Services Coordinator from Guilford, is also here, just because her name's up there. I wanted to give her a shout out. So we get asked quite a bit what exactly we do here. So we just wanted to come and refresh everyone's memory or tell you for the first time if you haven't ever heard. But we are responsible for assessing and onboarding new residents. So they come to us and we do that with the independent living nurses before they move in. They also have to complete orientation before they move in. So that's done before anyone is able to actually move into their apartment. We help with level of care changes. So if someone is needing more support or needing to move to a higher level of care, we work with them and their family, loved one, whoever it is that they would like us to work with on helping them through that process. We are also the point of contact for anyone who is having surgery or has gone out to the hospital for an acute incident, and we will help coordinate a short-term rehab stay or a respite stay. Respite is a planned stay in healthcare, so that is something that we would utilize if you are having a surgery and need observation for just a few days, or if you are helping to take care of your spouse and you're going on vacation for a little bit and need them to stay somewhere, you could utilize respite for that. But you would always need to give us a heads up so we can make sure the room is ready and available for you. We help with internal transfers, so if a resident is needing to downsize, especially for financial reasons, then they would work with us and we would help them move to a smaller apartment. And then we serve as a resource for residents and families, so if you have concerns or questions, complaints, anything, you're always welcome to come talk to us. And that goes for your family as well, so we do work with families quite a bit on things like that. And then when the time comes for someone to vacate their apartment and they've had either a celestial discharge, as Jordan likes to say, or they move to a higher level of care, we work with the family in helping them clear out that apartment and give them resources of donation places and help connect them with what they might need in that process. So those are the main things that we do. We always tell people in orientation, if you don't know who to come to when you get here, always feel free to come to us. If we're not the right person, we can help you find the right person or find the answer. So we're always here to help you guys in whatever way we can. Speaking of healthcare, we have our Discover Healthcare Services presentation coming up Tuesday, June 16th at 2 p.m. It will be here in the West Living Room. We encourage you guys to come to that. It is, I would say, less of a presentation and more of kind of a time for you to get your questions answered. We like it to be very interactive and for you to ask us and have conversation in that time. So we would love for you guys to be there for that. And then we have gotten feedback that people who moved in years ago or however long didn't necessarily get an orientation that they wanted or was helpful for them. And so we've really revamped the orientation process here. And we wanted to do an orientation refresh for all residents who already live here. One, so that you can see what new residents are hearing and receiving when they first move in, but also you might learn some things in there that are important for you as well as a resident here. So that will be Tuesday, June 30th at 11 a.m. in the Guilford living room, and we will be providing transportation to that. And that's all that I have. Thank you. Tim.
Thank you very much. Tim Zook, your Dining Services Director. Hope you're all having a great day. So we're going to go over some upcoming events. Actually, I put the slide together thinking we were going to have town hall last week. So Mother's Day happened this past Sunday. I hope everybody that came enjoyed it. We had a really good time on both sides of the campus. So thank you very much. We've heard a lot of good things. On the 20th at the Hub, we're going to have Cooper Hamilton, who was one of our scholarship winners last year, do his special dinner for everybody. I checked on the reservations today. We're at about 78 to 80, so we have plenty of seats left, but everybody should really enjoy this. Cooper has worked really hard with Chef Nick and Chef Cody to put together a menu of his own choosing, and I think you're going to all be very impressed with what Cooper's put together. So we're looking forward to doing that. Our usual Memorial Day cookout at both campuses. Over here we'll have the cookout in the Hub. Over on the Guilford side we'll be in the Ruth Dining Room and have a same menu, but we will not be cooking outside there. Travel the World this month is Greece, and it'll be in the Ruth Dining Room on Wednesday, 6/10. So that'll be a lot of fun also. And then Father's Day will be next month also. So next month's a little bit slower, but we've really put on a lot of events this month, so we need to catch our breath a little bit this month, after this month. So I hope you enjoyed them all. These are our happy or not scores. That's the happy face, frowny face that you get either a comment card for or stop on the way out of the dining room. Kohl's was at 94% positive on 550 responses this month, so that's up a couple points from last month, which is very good. The Hub is at 93% positive on 60. We don't get a lot of responses at the Hub, but historically, the Hub does a good job. And the Ruth was at 94% positive on 662 responses. So once again, that was up a couple of points from last month also. So both of our main dining rooms moved up a couple of points this month, and we're really happy about that. Once again, it's helpful to give us the comments, even the ones that I don't like to read and we don't like to have to look at, so that we can make some adjustments and hopefully get that score going in the right direction. Usually it's some consistency issues, some service issues. They're pretty consistent, but we like to see that. We also like to see the great comments. We do shout outs at our lineup meals for our servers and our cooks when we've gotten really good responses too, so that's always really good for us to be able to use that as a tool to shout out people when they're doing a great job. So Activated Insights was the culinary survey that went out a couple months ago, and then it went out again this month to a smaller group. So the first time we did it for everybody on campus. We got about 411 responses, I think, on that first one. And then this month, starting this month and moving every month forward, we're sending it out to a smaller group. I believe it's going to be 90 people every month that will get that survey again, so that will keep us in a nice rotation, so we can see if we're improving on things or we still need to work on some things. So that one just closed out this past week, and I think we received 58% of the 90 we sent out, we received responses. So that's a good number, but I know we can do a little bit better. But I also know that we had Halloween going on the month before, so it was a little bit crazy. So let's just go over some of the responses from the first survey. Areas that we're doing really well in. 63% of you have noticed the positive improvements over the last year, so that's really good to hear. The people are noticing that we are improving, we are doing some different things, we keep trying, and I think that's really positive that 63% of the people have noticed that. friendly and caring service staff. 91% of you said that the staff is always friendly. They always do a good job. They go above and beyond. There was also another question that said 75% of our managers and supervisors always solve the problem on the first conversation. So when you're going to our managers or supervisors or myself, we're getting those things taken care of really quickly for you. Special events, themed events, chefs' responsiveness, dining managers, really high scores on those. Obviously, there's opportunities. Lack of consistency, I'm trying to pronounce that word. Consistency is still one of our major areas that we're working on. I'm spending a lot more time with the chefs, looking at the menus, trying to figure out things, making sure we're planning things in a proper way. Menu language is not always clear. That's another thing that I'm working with the chefs on to make sure that it's a little simpler verbiage, something that's more familiar. Sometimes the chefs like to get a little too fancy sometimes, and I think if we could just, for lack of a better term, dummy it down once in a while, it'd probably be better for everybody. So that's what we're working on. Menu rotation and menu feels repetitive. Those two kind of came up. We're constantly changing Kohl's menu once a month. We're changing the Ruth menu on a quarterly basis and the Hope menu on a quarterly basis. We have looked at a few other things. I know vegetables and sides have been an issue. We kind of stay with the ones for a little too long. So we are looking at changing those on a bi-weekly basis in both dining rooms so that we can get a little bit more seasonality for vegetables and sides. So that's one thing I think that will help that. That is a response I get in Happy or Not as well, where the same vegetables are repetitive. And then takeout accuracy, which has gotten better. The last couple months I've been tracking that separately. It has gotten better, but we still have to work on a few things. Nobody likes to get their takeout and walk back to their apartment and find out they're missing something or something is incorrect, and we know that. So we're really working hard on that. Daily specials, that's the last one. So we have hired the cook that will be working on daily specials as a primary job. That process will start the 1st of June with the new menu in Kohl's. So we really feel like we're going to get some positive responses out of that. So really happy to have that getting going in the right direction. We did hire that cook about a month ago, but we lost a couple cooks at the same time. So we had a little training process delay on that. So that's what's taking a little longer than we should have. But I apologize for that. I'd like to also call out some recognition. So we, as some of you know, food services is contracted service through Compass Group. Compass Group has recognized Friends Home with the Sustainability Award this year. So, Sustainability Award this year. So the kitchen, that entails buying things locally. That entails reducing our waste. That entails just keeping our inventories in a consistent manner. So out of all the accounts they have in this environment, Friends Home won the award this year. So Chef Nick and all the management staff does a really good job with that. Managing waste is really interesting. If some of you haven't seen it before, we have buckets, and everything that's left over at the end of the night goes in the buckets, and we measure that. So to reduce the waste every week, the chef looks at that to see if we've been overproducing. So we've done a fantastic job with all that, buying locally, sustainability things, and so the companies recognize us for that, and we really appreciate that. And also, thank you. We also won the marketing award in this region here in the Mid-Atlantic for our social media presence. So once again, if any of you are on Facebook and LinkedIn and some of those other products like that, we do a lot of posting there. We show a lot of our special meals. We show a lot of activities. I know Martha's in the back over there. She takes a lot of photos for us and posts things for us, and we repost the things that are on the Friends Home page. And so we actually won an award for our social media presence, and the company is giving us, they're buying all of our management staff a lunch of our choosing in the next couple of weeks. So we'll have lunch brought in for us one day and be able to enjoy that. So we're really impressed. We're really proud of doing that also. Thank you. And now we're on to Whitney. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy your day.
Tim, I think Martha wants a part of that lunch. All right, good afternoon. My name is Whitney Ariza, and I'm going to give you your campus life update today. The first is we still have a few spots open for our Beaufort trip. So if you're interested in going, Mary Wallace is in the back. She's got the forms. She can give you all of the information, but we still have a few spots open. So see Mary afterwards. Next up, we are going back to the Greensboro Grasshoppers. We went on May 8th, and we're going again on May 29th, and we have games scheduled throughout the summer. So if you're interested, you can sign up for that on Icon. It's really nice. We get the tickets for you. You leave from here. We drop you off right by your seats. You just walk up a ramp, and then you're right there in the stadium. So that's a really fun highlight of the summer for us. We usually have a really big turnout for that. We're headed on Friday to the Duke Leamer Center. We're also going on May 22nd. This is generally a very popular trip, so we went ahead and planned for 2. So if you're interested, you can sign up via Icon or at the front desk with Paula. Our Music in May concert series is going to continue. This past Monday we had a little rain and it got cold, so we moved into the living room. But this next Monday, we've got the band Penny Candy. They're really a fun band. They play 50s and 60s, and they'll be outside, hopefully weather permitting. I think it's going to be really nice. And that'll be in the Woolman Courtyard over on the Guilford campus. The transportation is provided for that. And then another entertainment opportunity we have, Mary Michaels, who is a legally blind woman, will be here. She's traveled a lot of different places regionally, and I think Mary, was she a part of American Idol? We're really excited to have her. She's going to do a program that's Broadway to Bocelli, so you'll hear a lot of tunes from her, and that'll be Tuesday, May 19th at 2 p.m. right here in the West Living Room. We are going to start an Icon summer session in June. So if you are unfamiliar with Icon or have questions about Icon, it'll be a series throughout the summer where you can come and learn more, ranging from what's my user ID and password, to how to sign up for trips, how to make a dining reservation. All of that will be covered in this summer session. So keep your eyes out for the newsletter. All the dates will be listed there. And then, of course, if you ever have questions about Icon, Mary has office hours every week specifically dedicated to Icon. So check the calendar for that. We also, especially here on the West Campus, are in search of some volunteers to help with the weekly movies that we show. We're looking for a group of people to take the pressure off of 1 or 2 individuals. So we're looking to form a group, and the commitment would be 1 or 2 times per month. So if we have enough people and we all join together, we feel like we'd have a better experience for the volunteers. And we have a lot of folks that show up to the movies, so to offer some more consistency and reliability in that. So if you're interested, you can come see me or you can see Mary. And then Daryl has lined up a community shred event for us. Friday, May 15th from 10 to 2 in the Woolman parking lot right at the end of Fry. If you have any documents that need to be shred, you can take them and they'll shred them for us. It's free. You've just got to bring your documents. I know tax season was recently, and there's a certain number of years you have to keep stuff. So if you've got files and things that are piling up that are beyond that time of use, you can bring them and have them shredded. I don't think you can bring computers or phones or anything like that. It's just purely your documents. That's all for me. I'm going to pass it to Kayla. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kayla McBain, Director of Wellness. I'm excited to share a lot of things with you today. We have a staff update. If you haven't got a chance to officially meet her, I'm going to invite Kelly to come on up and join me. Kelly she's in week 3. She has hit the ground running. She came in on Saturday at our 5K
for her first volunteer experience, and she came back that one Monday morning. I was so excited. She has been a wonderful contribution to our wellness department already. I'm going to let her say a few things, but I want to go ahead and highlight some ways you can get to know Kelly a little more. She is currently taking our Core Connections class on Mondays at 9 a.m. here at the West Campus in the Life Enrichment Center. She has our already established basic balance class on Thursdays at 9 a.m. in the sports court, and she will be at the Guilford Fitness Center for hours from 10 to 12 every Thursday for any drop-ins or equipment orientations and questions there. And she's already hit the ground running with functional assessments too. She started those this month, so she's just been amazing. I'm going to turn it over to her.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So I have to say, this coming to Friends Homes has been the warmest welcome I've ever received in starting a new position. So you all have been so welcoming to me, the staff, the residents, everyone. So thank you so much. I've gotten cards, I've gotten flowers, I've gotten chocolate. So thank you for that. So anything I can do to assist you, I'm here to help. I've been here teaching for several years now. So some of you I know from my classes. Some of you I have not had the chance to meet yet. I'm trying to learn names as quickly as I can. So just be patient with me as I get to know everyone. But yeah, I'm here to help. So whatever I can do, just stop by. We're in the fitness center, and we'll do what we can.
All right, so as you know, we just had our 5K, our 4th annual 5K here at Friends Homes, and I've got some updates. First of all, I want to thank each of you that helped us with the parking for this event. Those of you that moved your cars for our guests to have a space to park was a tremendous help. We had feedback from guests that had been here in times past. They said it ran smoother. They didn't have to stress about circling the building several times looking for those open spots. So I truly appreciate your cooperation with that and help. We were able to provide 30 or 40 spaces up at the main entrance of our West Campus, and it was a smooth process overall, so I appreciate that. So just to give you an idea of logistics for that event, we had over 40 volunteers that helped execute that day. Whether it was the days leading up to it or on the actual day, security was involved, our campus life team was involved, residents helped out, family members helped out. It was truly a team effort, and I appreciate each and every one of you that helped us pull that event off. This year we had 187 participants, up from 178 last year, and then really exciting, monetary donations. This is registration fees and our sponsorships. Collectively, it was $31,970. In addition to the monetary donations, we took into consideration our in-kind gifts. So this was cone rentals that were donated to us for the event. This was gift certificates for our race winners, just a combination of lots of things. Total, that was $34,070, up from $18,167 last year. Special shout out to a couple of our very own residents. In the, I would say Stephen Catley got first place in his age bracket, as well as Richard Shope, first place in their bracket, so they got a medal to wear and show off. So we're really excited to have that support from our residents. And interestingly enough, Wellspring brought a bus over, and they had a winner for the 90 to 99 age bracket. Fantastic, she finished in an hour. I was impressed. So that was really exciting to have one of our sister communities help support us, and had a winner in that bracket as well. And go ahead and get your calendars out. Date for next year, Saturday, April 24th. So don't tell you I didn't tell you ahead of time. So next year, Saturday, April 24th, we will be rocking our 5th annual 5K. Yes. The money that we raise for this goes to the Resident Financial Assistance Campaign. So it goes right back to you all, those that need that assistance financially, whether you run out of money at no fault of your own. Like Ruthie was mentioning, we don't kick you out. We support you through every season of life, and this is one of those main events that helps keep that fund going. So we really appreciate your contribution to that. Thanks. All right, so we have a few exciting things coming up. We will have our celebration for our 8-week Kentura Fitness Challenge next Friday. This is for participants of that. We had 30 participants. It'll be here in the West Living Room. We're also going to be hosting River Landing and Wellspring that also participated in this event. So we're really excited to do a little award ceremony, and we'll have some refreshments for that as well. I didn't put a ton of details for our Wellness Week, but it's going to be Monday, June 8th through Friday, June 12th. You will get a specialized calendar specifically for Wellness Week when the connections come out. It's jam-packed with such exciting things. I will say there's puppy yoga involved. I don't know about you, but I may bring home a puppy that day. I won't, I'm just kidding. My husband would be very disappointed there. Top golf, we're gonna have sound therapy. I don't want to give all the spoilers away, so be on the lookout for that in your mailbox. And then lastly, I want to highlight, we're going to start our 4th cohort of our 8-week weight loss program. We had an information session yesterday, and we have another one at Guilford next Thursday. So if you missed yesterday, you've got another chance. If you're not able to attend the Thursday one, just let us know, and Kelly and I can schedule a meeting with you and kind of walk through that and what that looks like. That'll start June 1st, so we'll have those final moments before the program takes off that week prior to get you set up for success. All right. I'll hand it over to Jim.
Good afternoon. I am Jim Newman. I am here to give a brief update on some very exciting news that we received in the Healthcare Services Department a little earlier in the month. But some of you may be aware that CMS, or the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, created a rating system many years ago to help consumers, to help their families, to help interested parties compare particularly skilled nursing services providers in the area, across the state, across the nation. And this 5-star rating system looks at 3 different areas to come up with an overall rating for every skilled nursing facility that participates in the Medicare or Medicaid program. So they look at things like the healthcare inspections, or our annual survey that occurs every year, unannounced. They come in, they review us to see how we're doing. It looks at staffing levels. It looks at the number of RN hours that we use on a daily basis, the number of total nursing hours that are utilized. It looks at the total number of CNA hours that are utilized across the healthcare setting. And lastly, it looks at something called quality measures. And this is a group of 15 different metrics that range from fall prevention, reducing hospitalizations. It looks at ways to reduce and improve pressure sores or wounds that residents may incur. It also looks at safety initiatives and things that we're doing to ensure resident safety. So each one of those areas receives a 1 to 5-star rating, and they do bear different weights amongst those 3 things, but then they are combined together to create an overall rating. And this is something that is updated every quarter from the federal government. And I will say the top 10% of facilities across the state generally will receive a 5-star and healthcare inspections. A smaller number will receive a 5-star, and their staffing levels or their quality metrics. I'm very happy to let you know that for this last quarter, Friends Homes was 5-star in all 3 metrics as well as an overall. I'll also share that we were the only, I'll brag here, Contura community that was able to achieve this over the last quarter. So if you see our nurses, our CNAs, folks who work in healthcare services, please give them a pat on the back. This is not something that is achieved easily or without a lot of effort and diligence, and so they deserve the credit and the recognition for this, and thank you all for your participation in helping us reach these goals and that kind of thing. So I'll turn it over to Daryl.
Hey everybody, I'm Daryl Shores, I'm the EVS and Grounds Director. So I remember last year I announced this, we did a program where I asked for most of the residents to remove their bird feeders. We do this to kind of help control some of the insect population we have around the community, mosquitoes, ticks, and that sort of thing. It worked out really well last year. We did not do any mosquito spraying within some of our courtyards here, so I asked the same again. Letting nature control nature is probably the biggest piece there. Particularly those that live around like the pond and the Quaker Hill area. Those are where we see a lot of those upticks of those mosquitoes kind of like boiling over on the pond. So that's where I kind of make sure we remove them if we can, as soon as possible, and then we can put them back up in September timeframe. That does not mean bird or hummingbird feeders or bird houses though. That is just your bird feeders. Second thing I want to talk, well, this is kind of going a little bit more into the depth of, most birds kind of follow this routine. So April timeframe is when they start to migrate. May through June is when you're starting to see a lot of those birds flying around, eating those mosquitoes and whatnot, and kind of decreasing that population of insects. July and August, again, they're still being pretty active. September is when we can start putting those bird feeders back up. They're starting to get a bit lazy. Those insects are a little bit less, obviously, population-wise, so that's when we can start feeding them again. Second thing I want to kind of go into, so last year we did a pretty big area revamp around the gazebo at Guilford, Woman. So this was last year's pictures, just kind of, I always get excited to see like year by year. So this is what this year looks like. It was one of these dreary days, so it doesn't really capture it all, but I encourage everybody to kind of go take a look at it. We just got done doing all the flowers. So lots of pink this year. Wildwoods were really kind of devoted. That was kind of the color selection for us. And I think it really goes well with the color schemes that we've kind of got going around. And for those that really needed to know or just curiosity, so most of the flowers that we did, here's kind of a list of what we've done. We did Angeloni, which is the white flowers, sweet potato vine, which is that chartreuse green color. We used petunias, which is that pink flower that we have. They're called super petunias, which makes them have big flowers, right? But those are known as bubblegum pink, and then we use verbena on a stick, which is that tall purple flower. In most of the containers, we did kind of a similar combination, but in some we did use some geraniums, and then we used another plant called Blue My Mind, which is a little blue flower. It's a dwarf morning glory. Last thing I want to kind of mention too, so we'll be getting another turf application in the next few weeks. It'll be a liquid application. We'll get some of those weeds under control, and then it'll be another liquid fertilizer that kind of will carry us all the way through September, October, and that's when we'll kind of start the overseeding process and kind of get everything going back again with the next year. But here's some more pictures just to kind of show kind of where we're at. But on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Julie.
Hello everyone, I am not Mark Ford.
No.
Mark had to leave work a little early today, so I said I would jump in and do my best. We'll start with some projects that have been recently completed, and many of you already may know this. Last year we focused a lot on West with projects, landscaping-wise, the lobby and other areas. This year we found ourselves focusing on Guilford a lot, and that's what you'll see with these projects. We extended the parking lot at the Arcadia House, make it easier to get in and out of there. We've added a finishing table in the Ruth dining room. That's something our chef asked for in the past when they were plating. It was a little difficult, there wasn't a lot of space. So we added a table similar to what you see in Kohl's, where the chefs do their plating before they send them out to the tables. We added one in the Ruth dining room. We also refreshed the restrooms in the Fox Concourse. That's a project that was very overdue, probably a few decades overdue, to be honest with you. But we're glad that this year, I see Mary's nodding her head. She's like, yes, it needed to be done. I'm happy to say that it has been done. Door replacements between Woolman and Fox Concourse. We ordered doors, and they came in the wrong size, so it took a little bit longer than we had hoped. But that's kind of what happens these days. They don't make them like they used to. So we had to send them back and get new ones, but they're in there now, and the doors look great. And we think it's important that the back of house looks as good as the front of house, right? It's a reflection on how we look at things and how we take care of things. And so at Guilford, it's old, it's a little dated back there, it's a little rough, but we actually went back there, we cleaned things up, and we repainted a lot of the white areas. We wanted to give it a fresh coat of paint, and we think it'll go a long way. We're also looking at some new dumpsters, expanding our capacity back there. I haven't asked Daryl yet, but I will now. We need to pressure wash the white louvers by the dumpster area as well. And so we're going to get on that as well. We just want to make sure that whole back of house area looks good. And it's sort of an initiative that we're working on everywhere to make sure that everything looks good all the time. And I think that's a good thing to aspire to. Do you agree? I think so. Yeah. The filter changes, the AC filter changes should be done by now. Appreciate your patience if anybody had to enter your apartment to access those. And who has been on a walk around the lake with the new path? Isn't it great? Yeah. So that was, that took a little while. I'll admit it took a little while. We had to set aside some funding for it. Residents have been diligent in reminding us of the need to do that. And we appreciate that. That's the nudge that we need sometimes, and that's how we work together. It's here. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. And something that's just not as fun, but it's something that needs to be done, is the insulation in our cooling pipes that are in between the ceiling and this acoustical tile. After a while, the insulation around the pipes, it just goes bad, it degrades, and it needs to be replaced. And especially when we start to get into the warmer months. So we have hot air hitting cool pipes, we get what? Condensation. And the condensation drips, and then we get what? Stains. And we get issues, environmental issues. And so we have begun in sections replacing that insulation, in particular here at West. And we've completed the first stage of that insulation replacement. All right, now we have some current and underway projects. Hobbs. Hobbs needs a new roof. They've needed it for a while. We've been doing patching, and we got to the point where we said we need to replace it. So we set aside the money for it, and that will begin in June. We will also paint the outside of Hobbs because, basically what we're doing is we're starting at the top and we're working our way down to make sure we take good care of that building. So it'll look nice. And the neat thing is the colors, the color scheme, the roofing materials, it will tie in to the eventual new assisted living building that will be built. So we'll have a little bit of cohesiveness through time. So if you were wondering, why did they pick that color? That's why. It should be quite nice. And then if we have a little bit of money left over, I think we'll address some of the landscaping there, which is past its useful life, or close to it. We are continuing to chase the smells at the hub. Sometimes if you go into a very nice resort, it will have a signature smell. And it's wonderful. You walk in and you say, oh, this is great. Well, when you walk into the hub, our signature smell is not something that we're proud of. But we're working on it. We've tried about 3 or 4 different things. We've found some cracks in pipes, some openings, and we've repaired them. It's just something that happens as buildings settle. And so we've repaired those, and we've created some additional pipes on the roof to chase the smells further away from the building. We're getting there. It's not where we need to be. We recognize that. We're working on the signature smell of the hub. Let's see here. And in the villas. The villas have been here now for a few years. They've also settled. It's a wood frame building, and that's what happens. The wood shrinks a little bit, buildings settle, and you get cracks. And so we're currently going apartment by apartment where needed and working on a plan to, with a vendor, an outside vendor, to repair those cracks. And something that we've heard about as well from residents is the entrances to the 1,000 through 5,000 building. You know, the glass and the metal entrances. We recognize that they are in need of improvement. They need new paint. We have a lot of different signage. It's almost like you're getting yelled at when you walk into these buildings, right? I see heads nodding. There's just so many different signs from so many different decades. And so Mark has been doing a really good job at auditing all of this area, including the signage, and we will be purchasing all new signage. I just saw him yesterday walking with the signage vendor and marking up where we're doing things. We'll paint the metal, we'll install new signage, and it should look very fresh and clean. I hope that you enjoy it. We absolutely agree that it needs to be done. I'm a little embarrassed that it's taken so long, but we will get it right. And if we don't get it right, we'll go to version 2 and figure out what needs to be done. It's the right thing to do. And I don't know if the memo went out. I certainly drafted it, and so it will go out soon, regarding the resident storage and maintenance areas. Everybody knows what I'm talking about? Every floor has its own storage and maintenance area. This is really focusing on 1,000 through 5,000 in particular, but I imagine through time, it could also affect the villas, and it certainly could affect areas at Guilford. But for this slide, I'm talking to you 1,000 through 5,000ers, because it's gotten a little out of hand. And we have things being stored in the walkways. We have things that are just oversized and they don't fit in the cage and they're still being stored in there. And that's really not the intent of those spaces. So we're asking folks to get things into your cages or remove them. And we want to give you time and we want to offer you assistance. And that's what the memo says. So if you need help, please reach out to Sydney, and she can assist, or maintenance. Maintenance can help with getting rid of things. We want to give you plenty of time, but our goal ultimately is those walkways are clear, and things that need to be stored are stored in the cage. Okay? I know it makes sense, but I also know it's inconvenient. I apologize for that. Again, it is the right thing to do, we believe. Let's see, building entrances. We're going to do some painting refresh, and the living room is going to get some refresh. I think certainly at Guilford it needs it. I would say less so here, but just know that there's some projects that are underway. Always trying to keep things fresh. Alrighty, at Guilford we're lowering the height of the existing light fixtures in the courtyard. I suspect that's to have easier access and better maintenance. And in Whittier, we are refreshing one of the shower rooms. So many of those apartments do not have a shower in them, and so we have a central shower room. In 2 of them, there's actually this ramp that you have to push somebody up the ramp in order to give them a shower. And it's hard on the staff, and it's a little scary for the resident. And so we're working on a project to fix one of them. If it goes well, we'll fix the other one next year. Where we're actually going to bring that ramp down, put new tile in, make the space look very nice. Ultimately to make sure that you have a great experience when you're receiving assistance from us. And at West, we're replacing the cooling tower that is obsolete, needs to be replaced. And there's a cooling system that we are working on. This year we began the project. It's actually a 3-year project. And we are continuing that. It's called a DOAS. It's Direct Outside Air System. That's what DOAS stands for. I think it's a cool word, DOAS. But what we're doing is we're pumping air into our building and we're properly pressurizing all of our common areas in the 1,000 through 5,000 areas. Ultimately, it'll improve circulation and the condition of our hallways. Mark can do a much better job at explaining all of these projects, but I hope that that was helpful and you have a good feeling about where we stand from a maintenance perspective. Now I'll quickly transition into the executive director portion, and I have good news. Financially, our community is doing really well. You know, we're on solid footing, and that's the one thing I'd love for you to take from this slide. We're on solid footing as a community. There was a time earlier in the year where we were a little bit, our margin was pretty thin, but you may recall me saying as we get deeper into the year, I think we're going to continue to improve, and that's where we are today. We have a positive variance, you can see here, in our total operating income of $683,000. That's a good place to be at this point in the year. We only have a few more months left, believe it or not, in our fiscal year. Cash and investments are at $79 million. Our outstanding bonds payable are $92 million. We've collected $2.3 million in entrance fees, lagging behind our budget of $3.4 million, but not worried about it. We're going to continue to collect entrance fees till the end of the year, and I think we'll end up right where we need to be. And for those who are interested in knowing, we're at about 95% occupied right now between both of our campuses. When I came here 2.5 years ago, we were in the 80%, and so we've done a lot of great work as a community, and it shows right here. Let's see, purchase of fixed assets. We just talked about a lot of projects, right? The walkway, the DOAS system. That's where this is what paid for it. That's your capital expenditures, your big projects. We spent $2.7 million compared to a budget of 2.5 year to date, but our overall budget is $5 million. We have a number of big projects left to go. One of them is our bus. We're going to purchase a very nice bus. And there's a ton of renovations to units. As people continue to move in, we will be renovating units. And there's many other things that are remaining to be purchased or installed that will go into this budget. Long story short, we're doing great. And these ratios, these accounting ratios, any accountants in the room? I know there's 1, 2, okay. Well, then you would probably agree with me with these ratios. Our debt service coverage ratio, we have a budget of 2.2, and we're actually at 3, so we can pay our debt 3 times over. Net operating margin, budget of 4.2%, actual is 8.15%. So this also helps when we talk about annual cost of living increases. We look at financial performance, and when you're doing well financially, then you may not have to increase rates as much. So it's important to us that we pay attention to this throughout the year. Tim mentioned a special event, and he mentioned that 74 people are already signed up for this event. I wanted to add a face to that name of the event. Does anybody recognize Cooper? Yeah, he works in the Hub mostly, right? And I would say the Hub is probably our most successful venue. People really love it. Well, Cooper has been in culinary school now for a couple of years, and he has been awarded the scholarship from Friends Homes 2 years in a row. Well, this event is Cooper's event. And we would love to have as many people at this. I don't know what the cap is, but I'm going to put a plug in. If you haven't signed up, please do. It's one night only. It's a special menu. And it's Cooper's take on traditional Southern comfort food. Some of it the way that his mom would make it. It has a little bit of a flair from his mom. Reservations are required, so please sign up. And I'm going to give you a little heads up. There's the menu. I'm not going to give you enough time to read everything. But that's a big menu. Oh, somebody's taking a picture. Put that camera away. Cheater. It's a really neat menu, and I just know folks are going to enjoy it. There's things on here you might not recognize. I think that's a good thing. Let's go try it together. We'll have some fun. All right, reminder. We will not have this meeting next month. We were looking at the calendar, we're saying, well, we're having it in the middle of May. Do we really need to have another meeting this long, 2 weeks later? And the answer was no. Next year, we will not have a town hall meeting in May. The reason why this is 2 weeks late is because Steve and I had to go to a conference, and it's the same week every year. It's that first week of May, so we said, that's it, no more town halls in May. I hope that's okay, I hope that makes sense. So we'll pick that up next year. But come to July's town hall. We're gonna miss June together. I really want you to come to July. Please come, because it will be a celebratory event. We will be awarding scholarships to our employees, and this has become a tradition now. It'll be the 3rd year that we've done this, and I'm happy to say that as of today, we have received 11 scholarship applications. It's the most scholarship applications we've ever received. Unfortunately, because of how much we have in our scholarship fund, I don't think they're all going to get a scholarship, which would be really hard for the scholarship committee. But you can change that through your generosity if you would like between now and then. But no, it's a great cause. We would love for folks to give. The more that you give, the more that we can award to our employees. Last year, I believe 5 employees received a scholarship, and they each got $2,000. It was a lot of fun. This year is going to be just as much fun. And who knows, maybe more people will get a scholarship. We'll see. And this is something that folks may or may not know about. But about a year ago, in 2025, we established an employee relief fund. And this fund was meant to help employees if they experience some type of unplanned catastrophe, a medical event, an eviction, or some type of housing insecurity. Think of how people get surprised at home, in their home life. It would probably be medical or housing or something catastrophic, maybe a car, a transmission goes out, right? Well, our employees, this is what they experience on a routine basis. A long time ago, a resident came to us and said, Jordan, what can we do with all these items that are being just thrown away? Can we donate them? Can we create a thrift store? What can we do? So we started to think about that, and Steve has taken this on. He has created a system that has been successful. So in 2025, he created an auction system, and with Daryl's help, Daryl's team's help, and a little bit of maintenance, what we do is residents will come to us and they will donate items, and we will make it known that those items are available for purchase, and all of those proceeds go to this fund. And we've been successful, and we've been able to sell a lot of donated items. I'm happy to say that our first recipient was awarded, I'll call it a scholarship. This is an employee of ours who's battling cancer. It's a very serious cancer, and this is somebody that you know, but I'm not going to say it because it's not my place to say it. But I want you to know that this is working. We were able to give money to this person to help him and his family. And so the idea behind this is that this is a resident-run initiative. And eventually we hand this to the residents, and so donations come from the residents. The labor comes from the residents. The auctioning comes from the residents. It is the most beautiful gift that you could give our employees, to say thank you. So we're looking for volunteers. If you're interested, please speak to Steve. Until that gets off the ground though, Steve and Daryl and the maintenance team are working on it. And just know that this exists and it's happening, and we're able to really affect lives of our employees in a positive way. So thank you to everybody who may participate in the future and has participated in the past. Okay, I'm not going to announce who our new AED is today. That will come out in a memo, probably within the next 24 hours, but we do have a new AED announced. I want you to know that we received 133 applications for the West AED position. That's a lot of applications. We distilled that down to about 30 viable candidates, and I conducted multiple interviews. And so this was an exhaustive process. I also want you to know that your input was taken very, very seriously. How many people were in the meeting that we had where you provided feedback and ideas and thoughts on what we need to see from our new AED. That was very helpful to me. It was really a centering point for me as I embarked on this process. So thank you for doing that. In addition to that resident feedback, I also reached out to 9 different residents across Weston Guilford. I asked them to join me in the interviewing process. And in addition to the residents who joined me, I also asked the directors that manage each of the communities to join me, and my boss, and my boss's boss. So this is an exhaustive effort. I mean, we really wanted to be thoughtful with this process. And so you'll get the memo tomorrow announcing who the AED is, and I just want you to know that we took our time and we were very careful, and I appreciate the input from all of the stakeholders. I'm looking at these folks over here, and I'm looking at these folks here. And I think together, we're gonna have a great AED. I'm very excited to share that with you. So we'll celebrate a little bit later. I just want you to know that the search is over, okay? And so we can all have fun celebrating after the memo goes out. That concludes our marathon of a presentation. You all went the distance and did very well. We have microphones coming around. If anybody has a question or a comment, we would be happy to do our best to answer. We're already losing the crowd. Man. Yes.
Hi, I'm Carol Gillespie, and I have a couple of questions. With regard to the survey, the Holleran survey, will we see the entire survey, or are we just going to see the percentages? That's my first question. Would you like my second?
Well, why don't I answer the first one, then we'll go to the second one. There is opportunities for verbatim feedback and comments, and so typically we don't put the verbatim feedback out for the public. Sometimes there's names and sensitive subjects, so typically not verbatim, I believe, but percentages certainly. And there'll be Holleran provides us with a report that we'll use, and if you want more information, we'll see what we can do to provide more information if it's needed.
Okay, thank you. This is also something that Steve mentioned about the parking outside with employees. Do the employees know that we residents can say something to them? Or has that not been discussed yet?
I don't know that we would phrase it in that way. I would encourage you not to approach them directly. If you have a concern, maybe mention it to security and have security take it up. Would that work for you?
I think that would be better for all of us.
I think so. Don't take matters into your own hands. And we always want to preserve the relationship between the residents and the frontline staff. Let us be the ones to address the matter directly with the employee so that you don't have to.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Sure. Surely there is another comment in this audience. Where do you donate items for the Employee Relief Fund? And I will say we don't accept everything, because if we did, we'd end up with, we'd max out our capacity, but maybe Steve can share a little bit.
So we are still working with resident volunteers on refining that process, but for right now, you can just reach out to me and we can either store those items. We have some space in the Arcadia garage, some different spaces for storage, or sometimes we can just take a picture and we send the auction out to employees that bid on it pretty easily. So there's a few different options, just reach out. It depends on how heavy it is, that kind of thing.
And if there's a market for it.
Yep.
For the auction, is there an opportunity for other residents to bid on those items?
Yes, there is.
Good question. Again, we're still looking for volunteers resident volunteers to refine that. I'm really trying to take more of a back seat and so that it's a resident-led initiative for a lot of reasons. So, yeah, we're still working with, and we do have some, a small group that have started the discussion, so more to come.
Yeah, picture a process where a resident says, I'd like to donate this table. And they know that there's a resident that they can call that will mobilize somebody to go check out the table, take pictures of it, and bring it back. They get the pictures, they post it on the auction, somebody's in charge of that. You know what I mean? So there's this process where residents are working together to make the whole thing work out. From the donation to the sale, there's this thought that residents can really run this thing. And you know, we didn't just come up with this out of the thin air. This sort of a thing exists in other communities. I came from a community where we actually had a full-blown thrift shop on site, and every Friday the gates were opened and the folks came in from the outside community and they would shop, and it was from soup to nuts. It was resident run, and it was amazing. Now we don't have the space for that. We don't have a building that we can make a thrift store. But virtually we can do that now. We have the technology, we have the manpower, we certainly have the residents with the can-do spirit. So we're just looking for a group of folks to give it a shot, and we'll learn together, and ultimately we'll figure it out. I'm sure of that. We have the brain power.
Are monetary donations okay, or is it just thrift stock that you want to sell?
We will always accept monetary donations, Diane.
Well, it wasn't mentioned, so I didn't know.
You're saying make the ask. Yeah, okay. We would love for you to donate to the Employee Relief Fund. It would be wonderful. You're right. Thank you for the reminder. Appreciate it. And we have received some donations already, so thank you for your generosity. Okay. Any other comments, concerns? Well, I certainly appreciate you being here and participating. We're going to head over to Guilford and do it all over again. See you in July. Have a great afternoon, everyone.